Today's review is for a movie that film Twitter at least once every year goes like, hey, do you remember when The Wolf of Wall Street had the absolute audacity to show us that and to put that in the movie? Disgusting. Yes, today's review is for the 2013 film starring Leonardo Dicaprio, Jonah Hill, directed by Martin Scorsese, The Wolf of Wall Street. Now, before we jump into the review, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe. I really appreciate all of that. Also, in the comments, tell me, what is your favorite Leonardo DiCaprio performance? I'm gonna say it's this one. For me, it's The Wolf of Wall Street, personally. I also really like him in Inception. I haven't seen The Revenant, which he actually won an Oscar for. I've never seen that movie, but I'll get to that movie eventually. So you might be sitting there right now and thinking, hey, 2020 is almost over. This movie came out in 2013. Why are you doing a review on it? Well, first of all, I want to do a little throwback review. I want to build the review collection on this channel. New movies are coming out, so what better way to build a collection than go back and do some classics. Also, saw the movie like 2 days ago with some friends for like the third time ever, in full. The first time I saw the movie was back in like 2015 or something. I saw it in full. I thought it was great, and throughout the years I've seen it in like parts and parts and parts. But the other day, me and my friends were like, hey, let's rewatch The Wolf of Wall Street. So we all sat down on Discord and we watched it on there. And I gotta say, the more I've grown up since 2015, the more I appreciate this film now. So what is The Wolf of Wall Street about? Well, if you somehow have never seen this movie, here's just a quick little synopsis for you. The movie is based on a real-life person by the name of Jordan Belfort, who used to work on Wall Street and deal in penny stocks and stocks in general. He was a very shady guy. He had a very shady business dealing with stocks and Wall Street. I can't really get into it because, personally, I'm not a big finance guy or the stocks and everything like that, so some of the terminology in this film relating to that kind of flew past my head. But I did have a friend of mine who was watching the movie with me, and at the end of the movie, he was like, oh, now that I know the terminology, like, the movie's even better for me. Personally, for me, it just kind of all flew past my head, just because I don't know much about it. But yeah, basically, Jordan Belfort is a real-life person who did some insane things in his life. And yeah, this movie is based on his life. Leonardo DiCaprio plays Jordan Belfort in the movie, and we see him do all kinds of things. Like, for example, the opening scene of the movie is him doing coke out of a prostitute's butt. I don't think it's a secret that Leonardo DiCaprio absolutely crushes this role. He is so good in this movie. He is in every single scene. He is at a 100% every single time. This is a 3-hour movie, and I don't think there's a single scene that Jordan Belfort, Leonardo DiCaprio, isn't in. And he is so freaking fantastic in this film. What I've noticed now, rewatching it, is that there's a lot of scenes for him where he has to like give inspirational monologues or speeches to like the people around him, to get them going. And there's also, just on the filmmaking standpoint, there's a lot of scenes where it's all kind of drawn out a little bit, and it's all about the dialogue and the conversations. And Leo brings that charisma to the role, because Jordan Belfort, he's not a great guy. He's not a great guy at all. He does a lot of messed up things, and at some point, it starts to become that you don't really like this guy. Like, you don't really want to know him, right? But since Leonardo DiCaprio is playing him, he's playing him so well that he's somewhat likable. He's entertaining to watch. I'll give him that, right? I mean, there's that one iconic speech that everybody's seen where he goes like,
I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving!
I mean, we've all seen that incredible scene, right? It's been memed and reused throughout the years. But what I didn't remember is that he does 2 of these speeches. The second time he does a speech like this is when Steve Madden visits the office. And Leo steps in and he gives this inspirational speech that everybody gets behind. He gets hyped up. He gets everybody hyped up. In the business that Jordan Belfort's in, I mean, he's essentially scamming people, right? But he has to get co-workers, he has to get employees on board to do this. So he has to sell them the dream. He has to sell them that, hey, this works, come work for me, like, I can make you rich, I can give you everything you ever wanted, right? So he has to be a great public speaker, and there's a lot of great scenes where he's just talking, and the people around him are just glued to him. Like, they believe in this dream that he is selling for them. And so I think what Leo does so great in this film is that when he's playing Jordan Belfort at his peak, where he's confident, he has everything, he has the money, he has the girls, he has the cars, he has all the drugs in the world, he has it all. He is just commanding. He demands attention every single time he walks in a room. Everybody always wants to know what's happening to him. Like, yeah, it's just the presence that Leo brings in this role that make Jordan Belfort that much more entertaining. The thing about Jordan Belfort in this movie is that from the beginning, we see that he is this, very ambitious young guy. He wants to get on Wall Street. He wants to do big business here. He feels like this is where he belongs, right? He's wide-eyed. He's listening. He's paying attention. He's amazed by it all, right? And then he runs into Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey, by the way, in this movie, has a kind of a small cameo in the beginning of the movie, but a very important one. Then they have that little speech in the restaurant. They do the whole thing, right? The whole humming thing. By the way, if you didn't know, Matthew McConaughey actually does that in real life. He used to do that I think he still does it for, like, when he gets pumped up for scenes. That's the way he pumps himself up. So I think somebody saw him once. They were like, that's good. Let's put that in the movies. Anyways, in the beginning of the movie, we see Jordan Belfort like this, ambitious guy, who's chasing the dream on Wall Street. And then everything suddenly collapses for him. And in the beginning, he is likable because he's this guy that's chasing the dream and he's working hard. And you want to get behind him. You're like, yeah, Jordan, go chase your dream. Go do it, man. You got this. And in the beginning, we see when he enters the office, he's amazed by how people talk to each other, how kind of everybody's so angry and toxic, how this environment is just so vile, and he's shocked by it. But then what does he do later in the movie? He creates the exact same environment in his own office, right? So I really loved seeing his path to the top. See him from the beginning, from his lowest point, or where he's just starting, and we gradually move all the way to the top, and then the downfall. We see all of that happening. That's kind of how the roller coaster of this movie goes for Jordan Belfort. Ego is a very big thing for Jordan in this movie, and I think the movie does a very good job portraying that. As soon as, he starts getting to the top and all the drugs and all the girls and all the money, it just starts consuming him. And again, he just starts to become very unlikable. He cheats on his wife. He goes on with Naomi, who's played by Margot Robbie. He goes on with her. He doesn't treat her very well. He doesn't treat his employees very well. He gets into a lot of shady stuff. He starts turning his business into an illegal business. And then when people are telling him, hey, Jordan, like, you can get out of here without any problem. All you have to do is just quit the business. You have all the money in the world. You have everything. Just leave it. He had that moment to do it. And guess what? The ego is just too much for him. He's so proud of it. This company is what he built himself. He's telling, hey man, I was at the bottom and I built this. Like, I don't want to leave this. And that eventually leads to his own downfall. Now, what I like about the ending of the film is that one simple shot. It's a very simple shot of him playing tennis in like a prison. And I like that shot because there we just see Jordan and he's not at the top. Everything's been stripped from him. He doesn't have the money, he doesn't have the wife, he doesn't have the girls, he doesn't have the drugs. It's just Jordan. It's actually less of a Jordan that we saw in the beginning of the movie that had at least something like his wife or his first Wall Street job. He's in prison. He has nothing. Everything's been stripped away from him. And it's very simple. And it's a nice slow down of pace for his character, I think. Because after seeing him do all of this crazy stuff, getting to the top and then falling down, and then he's just calm. That's it. This is prison. I'm playing tennis. And, he is aware that he is the maker of his own downfall. I was watching it the other day and I was like, how did this guy not win an Oscar for this role? And then I looked at who did win the Oscar in 2013 for Best Actor. And that was actually Leo's co-star in this movie, Matthew McConaughey. He won it for Dallas Buyers Club. I watched the Dallas Buyers Club last year for the first time, and I remember when I was watching that movie, all I could think about was how great Matthew McConaughey is. Just like this movie I'm watching, and I'm thinking how great Leo is. So I'm fine with Matthew McConaughey winning it from Dallas Buyers Club because he was fantastic in that role. By the way, what a 2013 Matthew had that year, right? First, Dallas Buyers Club, Wolf of Wall Street cameo there a little bit, And Interstellar, I believe Interstellar came out the same year, 2013, which I think is one of the most underrated movies of the last decade. I will challenge you on that. I love that movie. And Matthew is freaking fantastic in that film. Back to The Wolf of Wall Street. Jonah Hill got a supporting actor nomination for the Oscars for being in this movie, for playing Jordan Belfort's friend and partner, Donnie. And Jonah Hill is fantastic in this film as well. I think Jonah Hill is one of those actors that doesn't get a lot of credit in Hollywood. He's very famous for his comedic roles. He's very funny. But I think when he wants to, and when he takes on a serious project, he is committed to it and he gives 100% to it. And you get a lot of great performances from him in like these serious kind of dramas. Although Wolf of Wall Street is actually classified as a comedy. I did not know that until I looked it up right now. The other day when I was watching it, I was dying laughing just because I don't remember some of the jokes, because I've seen it many years ago now. But yeah, I was just dying laughing, and I was a bit surprised this movie's classified as a comedy, but at the same time not, because this movie is outrageously hilarious in a very dark way. There's a lot of jokes that today Twitter would be like, oof, off with your head, we don't want to see that. And I think a lot of that comedy comes from Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill's character is kind of more of a comedic relief, but he also has much more to do. You know, we also see him and how he applies himself to the business and his own journey a little bit. But yeah, Jonah Hill is absolutely hilarious in this film, and he rightfully deserved that supporting actor nomination. I don't know who won it that year. I forgot to look that up. And you can fact check me on this, but I believe this is the movie that put Margot Robbie on the map for everybody. I mean, she is great. I mean, what can I say? You've seen the movie, you know she's great. She's great. Yeah, that's all I have to say on that matter. No, but in all seriousness, she is great in the film. Her and Leo have some great chemistry playing husband and wife, and especially towards the end when it's all boiling up and they have to play a very dysfunctional husband and wife or a very toxic relationship. They do that very, very well. So Margot Robbie, great in the film, and I believe this is the movie that put her on the map for everybody else. So yeah, I mean, this movie was a big jump for her own career, because look what she's doing now. Just great things. Let's get to the writing. Here's what I want to give huge credit to this movie for. It's 3 hours long, 2 hours and 59 minutes if you want to be exact with it. But it's 2 hours and 59 minutes of pure entertainment. And I'm not lying to you. There is not a single moment in this movie that I was bored at or thought that, hey, it's dragging a little bit here. You know, when you're watching this long of a movie, sometimes you're like, I think it dragged a little bit in the middle, dragged a little bit in the beginning or the end. No, what I was surprised about when I rewatched it the other day was that I was entertained in this movie from start to finish. Not a slow moment at all. This movie ramps up as well. I mean, everybody in this movie is doing cocaine, so it would make sense that this movie itself is on cocaine. And you just can't believe it that this is based on a true story. This is based on somebody's life who's been through this. And apparently, the real Jordan Belfort has come out and said that they had to leave some stuff out of the movie. That this is not actually the entire thing. So if this movie is just a sample size of what he lived, could you imagine what his actual life was like? It is insane. And that's what I want to give huge credit to the writing. Again, 3 hours of pure entertainment. The dialogue also. Fantastic. This movie I think it was nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay because it was adapted from Jordan Belfort's book. So it got nominated for that. And I don't think it won it. But I think it really should have. Again, I don't know who actually won it. But again, it's just so entertaining. One of my favorite scenes was when Jordan invites the detective played by Kyle Chandler up to the boat, right? And he's trying to get a one-up on this FBI guy, and he's like trying to bribe him, and Jordan thinks he's like ahead, thinks he's in charge of this conversation. But throughout the dialogue, you start to quickly understand that this FBI agent is reading right through Jordan, and he sees the liar, and he sees what Jordan's trying to do. And in that moment, I was I was dying laughing because I was like, damn, Jordan really has no idea how he is playing himself by talking even more. That was one of the scenes where I was like, damn, the dialogue is so good here. And listen, in terms of story, I fully understand that some people might be offended at some of the things that this movie portrays, especially treatment of women. But what you gotta understand is that none of these people in the movie were actually good people. They were all assholes. Jordan Belfort is not a good guy. Jonah Hill's character is definitely not a good guy. They're all assholes with money who just think they can do whatever they want. So they will do whatever they want and they don't care about your feelings. So that's kind of, you know, if you've never seen the movie and you're getting offended at some of these things, again, apparently this is how Jordan Belfort lived his life. So this is based on a true story. And if you're going to get offended at some of these things, you just got to understand that these guys are not good guys, you know? It's just how it is. One of the other huge positives I want to give this movie is the editing. I thought the editing was on point. There was a lot of times the editing was used for comedy to get a laughter out of you, to get a laughter out of the audience. And that's one of the factors that builds into this film actually being a comedy. Not only the dialogue, but the editing is absolutely on point in this film. This film is not a linear kind of, you know, from start to finish, from top to bottom kind of thing where we see Jordan's journey. It's cut through like between certain things, and it's mixed with different kinds of styles, I would say. There's a few scenes where Jordan is straight up talking to the camera. We see him film commercials. We see him in the past, in the future, a little bit sprinkled all over the place. So yeah, this movie finds a way to not be very kind of linear and very boring through the 3 hours. Not only the dialogue, but also the filmmaking. That's where Martin Scorsese comes in, and I thought this is a very stylistic movie, I would say, in terms of editing and filmmaking. The way it's stitched together is super entertaining. Writing, super entertaining. Film, constructed beautifully. Performances are out of this world. And yet, The Wolf of Wall Street, in my opinion, gets a huge A+. I love this movie. This, again, 3 hours of just pure entertainment. You know, if you've been kind of hiding away from this movie because you're afraid of these 3 hours for some reason, seriously, sit down and watch it. You will be dying laughing the whole time. It's definitely for a mature audience, but, you know, if you're a young adult there and you want to kind of sneak it in there without your parents knowing it. So that was my review for The Wolf of Wall Street, and if you've seen the movie, let me know down in the comments all of your thoughts about it. I would love to have a discussion with you about that. Also, once again, what is your favorite Leonardo Dicaprio performance? For me personally, it has to be this one. Again, haven't seen The Revenant. One day I will see it, and we'll see if that one beats this one, because that one clearly won an Oscar, and this one didn't. But yeah, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate all of that. Check out some of my other videos. We're trying to grow, so you liking the video and subscribing, maybe even share it if you want to. It's up to you though. Up to you. No pressure. No pressure. But yeah, have a good day, guys, and I'll see you guys later.